Trippier all the way through to Shadley, and it's in off Chambers. Tottenham are level. An own goal by Callum Chambers. Spurs have been threatening ever since the restart, and finally they've made the breakthrough. Well, the ball was given away. That was the key. Trippier with the ball in. Chadley all on his own with Debuchy on the far post, and Chambers just stuck out a leg. Then you feel that Ospina would have safely gathered this. Chambers unsure what was around him, and can only divert it past Ospina for an OG. We do have Theo Walcott as a possibility. So it looks like Tottenham are going to bring on their top scorer Son. Sanchez also warming up for Arsenal, so no shortage of attacking options for Arsene Wenger. Top left of your picture, Son just going through the instructions with Jesus Perez, Pochettino's assistant. Trippier into Dyer, past Arteta, who's gone to ground, waited too long to cross though, out by Gibbs for another Spurs corner. And this is where Arteta tripped over and allowed Dyer all the time in the world. 25 to play, Townsend with the latest Tottenham corner. Harry Kane! Cleared off the line by Gibbs. What a wonderful effort that was. Magnificent, and so unlucky. Oh, it beat Arteta on the line, but fortunately for Arsenal, Gibbs was behind him to head away. First chance here for Alexis Sanchez. Might go for it himself. Oh, it's a weak finish, straight to form. But a warning straight away for Spurs here. Sanchez gliding past Trippier and then cutting inside for good measure, but it was more of a back pass than a shot. So Trippier could be in for a tough final quarter of the game here, if that's anything to go by. Debuchy caught Shadley there. Well, let's have another look at this glorious volley. Just cleared before the whole of the ball crossed the line. Very close. Debuchy. Giroud, who we've hardly mentioned since half-time. Gibbs. Arteta. Given away by Ramsey. Here's Dyer. And here comes Christian Eriksen. Harry Kane had gone near post, ball went far. He wanted it delivered a little earlier than that from Eriksen, and he held on to it. Flamini releases Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Move back to that right side now. Ramsey through for Giroud. Good save by Vaughan. Well, suddenly Olivier Giroud burst into life. Told Ramsey exactly where he wanted it. Stayed onside, nipped him behind Fazio, and Vaughan so quickly alert to the danger here. Arsenal throw is the verdict. Could have gone either way, that one. Don't think the officials were entirely sure. Sanchez loses the ball. Gibbs wins it back. Sanchez again. Comes off Fazio. Flamini! He's done it again! A glorious strike from Matteo Flamini, and Arsenal are back in front. Sanchez, it came off Fazio, and what a strike that is. The ball dropping from the North London night sky, and as clean a hit as you could wish to see. Two goals for Flamini, and I think Arsenal will think twice about bringing Walcott on now. '93rd minute, he's nutmegged Ramsey. Mertesacker, it's hit horribly by Njai, comes out to Son, dispossessed by Debuchy. Header by Giroud. This is exactly what Arsenal want. Here comes Theo Walcott. Trippier is the defender. Walcott shoots and misses. That was the chance to wrap it up. It presents Tottenham with one more chance to boot it downfield. Rose. Had gone up, but is overhit by Danny Rose, and that is probably that. And it's Arsenal who go through to the last 16 of the Capital One Cup. The unlikely hero, Matteo Flamini, with 2 goals. Arsene Wenger, searching for his first League Cup as Arsenal manager, has got off to the perfect start with an away win in a North London derby.
Well, the lunchtime kickoff in the Premier League is a North London stadium. Tottenham boss Mauricio Pochettino makes 3 changes from the Spurs team that lost to Chelsea on. Well, the lunchtime kickoff in the Premier League is a North London derby at Wembley Stadium. Tottenham boss Pochettino makes 3 changes from the Spurs team that lost to Chelsea on Wednesday. Jan Vertonghen, Danny Rose and Victor Wanyama come in for Harry Winks, Eric Lamela and Ben Davies. Tottenham looking to cease a run of 2 successive defeats. Arsenal make 5 changes from their 5-1 win over Bournemouth midweek. Top scorer Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Mesut Ozil, Lucas Torreira, Sead Kolasinac and Carl Jenkinson are out. In comes Shokran Mustafi, Aaron Ramsey, Alexandre Lacazette, Alex and Granit Xhaka.
And you've got to give him credit. They were suggesting he wouldn't be back so soon.
Or have they rushed him back too early?
When you say they, I think him as an individual, from what I gather, rushes himself back, and I think that's commendable. Any footballer worth his salt in the game rushes yourself back. As long as he's clinically able to play, which he certainly looks as though he is, I think, you know, he's back at the right time. But it might just take him a game or so to get his eye in.
19 gone. It's Tottenham 0, Arsenal 1. Live and exclusive to National Radio right here on Talk Sport. And so much football to come over the next few weeks. Pivotal football as well.
Yeah, Tottenham look as though they've got their confidence shaken a little bit. I don't know whether these 2 defeats have put them under a little bit more pressure. You know, you go into a derby game like this, and it's big enough pressure as is. You lose the 2 games previous to that, and all of a sudden it really sort of sharpens your focus.
I mean, they're 5 points better off than they were at this stage last season, Tottenham Hotspur. They've had a very good season, and when you factor in the investment, the budget, the wage bill, etc., etc., I think you've said it before, they're punching above their weight. However, you know, in the last few weeks, let's be completely clear about it, even when they were winning games, they're winning games with late goals. They're winning games by narrow margins against teams you'd expect them to be. So it was on the turn, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can say that. As I say, with Tottenham, I still view Tottenham with a lot of positives in my mind about where they are and the rise of the club with a new stadium and all those things. But the other side of that is they've lost 8 games. You know, if this stays as is, it's 9. That's a lot of games to lose for a team in the top 6 or 7.
Well, they don't settle for a draw, do they? Here's Iwobi down the right-hand side. They might take one now. The ball's played up towards Lacazette. It's overhit by the fullback Monreal, and it goes straight through to Hugo Lloris away to our right-hand side. 21 gone. Here are the latest odds from Betfair, Matchday Live's official betting partner on Talk Sport. Spurs 5-2 to go on and win the game. Arsenal evens, the draw 13-5, and full terms and conditions are available at betfair.com. 18 plus, please gamble aware.
You know what I don't think Tottenham are doing particularly well at the moment? The 3 central defenders, in my opinion, are not playing the ball out well enough from the back, or one of them. You should play a couple of passes and that free up the third of the 3 either side, left or right, to drive into midfield and start committing people. I don't think they've done that particularly well.
1-0 to Arsenal. Here is Son trying to pick the ball up on the edge of the 18-yard box. He's coming back from an offside position. The assistant was pretty quick with the flag, and he has given the free kick away to our left-hand side on the edge of the penalty area. And Tottenham Hotspur will have to get themselves into a better groove, really, because they haven't even tested Bernd Leno, or looked like testing Bernd Leno in the opening 21 minutes. And when you factor that they didn't have a shot on target in midweek, that will be of concern to Maurizio Pochettino, who's sitting there leant over, stroking his facial hair and considering his options. Ball flicked on by Kane, doesn't reach Son, away by Sokratis Papastadopoulos. Toby Alderweireld smacks it high into the air. Koscielny over his shoulder tries to win it. Hooks it back towards Monreal. Not a great clearance. Comes to Sissoko midway inside Arsenal territory. Then it's on to Eriksson, who looks to turn. Eriksson shuffles it out towards the left. Play on, says the referee. No advantage. Goes back eventually after complaints from Tottenham that they wanted a free kick. They now got that free kick, and it is in a dangerous area about 8 yards back from the edge of the box, right side.
Yeah, good referee in there. As I say, let play go first off, but Eriksson's pass was wayward and out of play, which is good. Spurs at this moment in time, I think they've got to be a little bit more slicker with their pass, a little bit more accurate with their pass, and more importantly, give the players the ball a little bit earlier. Certainly Rose and Trippier on either side need that ball supplied to them earlier.
Free kick to be taken by Trippier on the right side for Tottenham. Heung-min Son is over there in conversation with the England right full-back. There are 5 bodies waiting in the centre. It's swirled in towards Harry Kane with a header. Offside flag is up. Well, the header was perfect. It went sailing beyond Bernd Leno, but the offside flag was up over on the far side, and the Tottenham supporters are being mocked by the Arsenal ones in the corner because their celebrations were a little bit premature. It's still 1-0 to Arsenal.
Fantastic ball into the box, and I've got to say, my goodness, that is very, very close. I think it's offside. Yeah. The referee's got it, the linesman's got it right. Brilliant to him. But what a centre-forward's header that was. My goodness. He rose, he hung, and he drove it back across the goal into the top corner. Fantastic goal.
It was a brilliant header. It just didn't count. 24 gone. You're listening to Talk Sport. The game is divided by Aaron Ramsey's goal. After 16 minutes, here's Iwobi combining with Ramsey. Iwobi into the box. He gets to the edge of the area. And it comes back out to Ramsey after a collision between Sanchez and Trippier over on the far side. And the blood is up amongst the Tottenham support over on the far side. They want a little bit more. They want more energy. They want more purpose. They want more desire and intensity. And if there's one thing that Mauricio Pochettino said he wasn't happy with last week in the game against Sean Dyche's team at Burnley, it was that they didn't match the Turf Moor team's intensity and aggression.
Yeah, and a tough time to go to Burnley as well. You'd have gone there maybe 8 games ago, you'd have had a different match. Nowadays, they've got their old mojo back, and obviously it proved a really tough game for Spurs.
25 minutes gone, you're listening to Talk Sport. Aaron Ramsey's been directly involved in 3 of Arsenal's last 4 Premier League goals against Tottenham. 1 goal, 2 assists.
He is one player that...
if you're going to sign off, you're going to sign off in style.
Yeah, and he's a player that I'm always astounded. When I turn up to watch Arsenal and he's not in the team or on the bench, I think they're missing a trick with this lad.
It's got to be about the money. It's got to be. Mkhitaryan on halfway. Oh, mistake by Mustafi, inviting Rose to come over and challenge for it. Rose then goes beyond Mustafi. That's a silly challenge by Mustafi. And that's going to be at least a talking to for the German international in the right fullback position today. Anthony Taylor has walked over to him and now is in conversation. It's a free kick to Tottenham, just shy of the halfway line.
Yeah. Very isolated. Spurs playing slightly lopsided.
Here is Son back to the right, and then Trippier very congested over on that right hand side. A switch would be a good idea here. Here is Davinson Sanchez. Now they come over to the left with Vertonghen, and now Rose, and then Rose comes infield. Poor ball. It's cut out by Guendouzi and picked up by Lacazette. Searing challenge from Rose to win it back. He felt that, Lacazette. Ball taken out towards the left-hand side. Kane jinks into the area, can't keep his footing. Gives it back to Eriksen, trying to turn. He's swiveling away from Xhaka, but can't hold on to it. So he has to shift it out to Trippier. It's just not quite right for Tottenham. They're just imprecise a little bit. They've given the ball away, but then won it back with Son over on the far side, who cuts back in towards the edge of the area. He drives past one challenge, past a second, past a third. He runs into Koscielny, and eventually he's robbed of possession. And it's cleared away over on the left-hand side by Monreal up towards the halfway line.
This is why this boy Son is so crucial to Tottenham. Drives straight at the goal, tempting defenders into dangle a leg and make a wrong challenge. Went past 3, but just managed, couldn't get past the 4.
Here is Rose, infield to Eriksen. Eriksen moving towards the edge of the area, but running into a wall of red jerseys and has to turn. Our producer Decker's got a heat map up in front of us now, identifying those action areas. Here is Sissoko moving towards the edge of the area. He clips past one defender and sends it into the box. It's headed away and goes out and away for a corner. And the heat map tells us exactly what you've been saying. That right-hand side is the hot zone. The left side is barely touched.
Yeah, and that's where the space is. I think Spurs have got to get the ball out to Rose. Rose has got to receive it, take Mustafi on, and more importantly, Spurs have got to get a player out there so he's got to pass as well.
Here's the corner into the near post. It's half headed away and then picked up in midfield by Guendouzi, who shoots it out to Mkhitaryan, who's leading a counter-attack here for Arsenal. He scoots upfield, goes past Trippier, then sends a cross deep towards Ramsey. Vertonghen intervenes, and then Wanyama manages to hook it clear. But again, Arsenal looking more dangerous on the break than anything else. Here's Guendouzi in centre field, out wide to Mustafi. Mustafi now sending it back to the long-haired, lean Frenchman. Back to Ramsey, whose cross is too close to Lloris. Didn't get enough whip on that ball and goes behind the way for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. What a great 29 minutes we've had, an intriguing 29 minutes we have had here.
I wonder, Sam, at half-time, I mean, Pochettino's been an absolute pass master of, at half-time, changing his team. We saw it at Chelsea, didn't we, in the Carabao Cup?
Oh, yeah, that was brilliant.
Half-time, changed his team. They come out and dominated the second half. I wonder whether at half-time he'll look at this back three and say, you know what, I'm not sure the three's working for me today.
Well, they played a 4 in midweek against Chelsea because Vertonghen got injured and they didn't have the personnel to do it. And he's come straight back into the team today. I wonder whether or not he might go to left-back in the second half. He's done very well at getting forward and playing in that position. He did it earlier in the season. Only about a month ago he played in that position and done really well and came up with a cross for a goal in a game here at Wembley. Here is Son back to Trippier. Trippier across to Sissoko on the half-hour mark, and it's 1-0 to Arsenal, and Sissoko's run into trouble. He's been robbed by Lacazette, and Ramsey's picked the ball up. It's behind Iwobi, not a great ball, and the counter-attack is slowed, and it's cleared away by Tottenham on this near side and up to Danny Rose. But Unai Emery furious on the touchline that they didn't make more of that counter-attack. Here's Rose, sends it far too long for Eriksen. He hasn't been in great today either, Danny Rose, just a little bit off it as Eriksen chops back in and is confronted by Sokratis Papastadopoulos. Across to Vertonghen now, midway inside the Arsenal half is Wanyama, inside is Trippier, he's onside, feathers across towards for a goal kick away to our left-hand side and out for a Arsenal ball. But there was a little bit of panic there amongst the Arsenal back line, and Unai Emery is asking his players to keep a little bit more narrow when defending.
I'm looking at Arsenal, and Arsenal had big numbers back. They near enough have every player back in the last 30 metres, and still there's gaps in their defensive work, you know. I think if Tottenham get a little bit more clinical with their passing, there's goals here for them. I've got to say as well, if Arsenal get more clinical, and we had a counter-attack on earlier where Iwobi was screaming for the ball and it was played behind him, I think they can also hurt Tottenham on the counter.
Well, it's currently 0-0 in League One between Southend and Barnsley. That's a game that Sport 2 right now. And remember, a little bit later on, we've got the game between Manchester United and Southampton, live on TalkSport, exclusive from 3 o'clock this afternoon. Here is Son, edge of the area, after the ball was chested down by Kane, a long raking ball forward, which Tottenham have used to drag themselves up the pitch. Son trying to take on Guendouzi down the left-hand side. He cuts it back to Vertonghen, and Vertonghen then just plays it square into the Kenyan, Victor Wanyama, who's been out with so many knee injuries this season. And he's only making his second Premier League start of the campaign. Trippier back to Toby Alderweireld. Would like to be in a situation where his 30th birthday is a little bit more pleasant than this, trailing by a 1-0 away to the North London rivals. Rose further down the left for Tottenham, a low ball into the box perfectly for Son. Son tries to square it for second corner of the game off Sokratis Papastadopoulos, and out and away for a set piece to Tottenham Hotspur. That was a lovely ball by Rose.
This has been symptomatic of the pattern of the game. Ball out to Danny Rose, he's in acres of space, no one's getting tight to him, but when he does get it, he's very isolated. But Arsenal get men back, and still there's gaps for Son to run in behind.
Here's the corner, which Rose will take. It's deep towards the far post, flicked away by Koscielny. Comes back out to Kieran Trippier, who scurries to the far touchline to make sure it's still in Tottenham possession. From the centre circle, Sissoko floats one in. It's over the head of Sanchez, who felt he was being bumped a little bit. There's a little bit of a knot between him and Ramsey in the end, but the ball just flicks behind and goes away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 1 in the North London derby, live on TalkSport. Harry Kane's had a goal disallowed for offside. He's often the difference in these matches. 8 goals in 8 Premier League games against Arsenal. He's got 8 in his last 9 in all competitions, 21 in 33 this season. But he has had an ankle injury, which meant he missed 7 games. And it doesn't matter who you are, if you're Harry Kane or not, as Bernd Leno is going to be spoken to alongside Koscielny about a bit of time wasting, which is going on away to our left-hand side. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're missing 7 games, then you've got some fitness to make up. sharpness.
Yeah, it's match sharpness really that you need to pick up on. I'm sure Harry would have kept himself as fit as the injury would allow, but you know, sometimes he just looks a little bit off at this moment in time, Harry, but it wouldn't surprise you if he gets a couple of goals and gets Tottenham over the line. That is the nature of the boy.
Remember, the big headlines before the game were centring around the Arsenal team news. Özil not coming in the starting 11 today, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang being left on the bench by Unai Emery. Those two start in midweek. However, they weren't selected to start this game. I don't think the Arsenal fans were as surprised as some of the neutral observers. 10 minutes to go before the start of the half-time break, and it is Tottenham 0, Arsenal 1, and Tottenham have won a free kick after Aaron Ramsey, the goal scorer, bundled into Kieran Trippier over on the far side, the Tottenham right. Needs another good delivery. Remember that last one that he swung in from that side, which Kane headed in, but then the goal was disallowed. Here it is again, aimed in towards Kane, a little bit higher this time, and Vertonghen does get something on it, but he was never going to be able to angle that on target, and it goes well wide of the goal away to our left, and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, at the moment I'm seeing both teams. I'm not convinced with the defending of both teams. I think they're giving the opportunity to the opposition, but I don't think either team have been really clinical in their set-up play and their final pass either, so there's almost a stalemate involved here.
Champions League action on TalkSport in midweek. Spurs travel to Germany to take on the Bundesliga leaders Borussia Dortmund. Over on TalkSport the same night, first international T20 between England and the West Indies. That's Tuesday night. Further matches on Friday and Sunday next week as well. Compelling listening on the award-winning coverage from TalkSport 2 of the cricket. And if you didn't hear about the big award that TalkSport's cricket coverage won last week, just check it out on the SJA Twitter page. The Sports Journalist Awards last week. Congratulations to everyone involved in that. A fantastic effort has gone into it, and boy has it been well received. And Wednesday night we've got PSG versus Manchester United. Thomas Tuchel's men taking a 2-0 lead into that game. That's live on TalkSport. Free kick to Arsenal on halfway, and Unai Emery is just trying to be the orchestrator and just manipulate his team as the free kick comes in towards the back post. That mark was Mustafi, back in towards the centre of the penalty area. It just looped over the top of the defence, and there was a little touch there, I think, and it goes out for a corner. That was poor defending, I think, from Tottenham to allow Mustafi to get that first header in, Stuart.
Yeah, the first header. The line was so high, Sam. That is the reason why he managed to spin and get round the back. But I've got to say, Sanchez, after Mustafi did get the first header, Sanchez, good recovery header between the sticks.
Here is the corner to be taken on this near side, the first of the game for Arsenal, and it will be Granit Xhaka to take it. There are 5 red shirts to aim at. It's towards the centre of the 6-yard box. An easy claim for Hugo Lloris, who comes out, snatches it and plays it out towards the right-hand side. Good throw by Hugo Lloris. Up to Sissoko, who runs over halfway with power and pace, and then precision pass onto Trippier down the right side into the near post looking for Son, and it's cleared away by the retreating Henrik Mkhitaryan. Was back in there, but I think it was Koscielny who got across and managed to clear it.
This is why Arsenal concede so many goals. Good throw out from the goalkeeper, admittedly. Then it's basically 2-on-2 out wide. 2 Spurs players, 2 Arsenal players, and both Arsenal players concentrate on the ball and let the runner go in behind them in Trippier.
Rose down the left for Tottenham Hotspur. That was naive defending, wasn't it, from Arsenal?
It certainly was. As I say, they've got to do better at 2-on-2. You should be able to snuff out any problems.
Trippier down the right again for Tottenham Hotspur. Into Son, back heel into Sissoko, onto Eriksen, trying to dance his way through. Arsenal mop it up, then attempt to clear. Don't do very well at that, but Tottenham gets it back and tries a flyer from the edge of the area, which curls miles away from Bernd Leno's goal. Another sort of misplaced pass from the Arsenal defence, which invites a bit of pressure. Tottenham can't make the most of it. You still get the feeling that there's more goals in this game. Remember that Arsenal are the only team in the Premier League this season not to have kept a clean sheet away from home. Barnsley down to 10 men as Jacob Brown went in very high on Sam Mantum over on TalkSport 2, giving the referee no choice to send him off. Still goalless in that game, and you can get it on our TalkSport app, which is available on Android and iOS devices. Just go to your app store and download it, and there's loads of bits and pieces on there for you to get involved with. Here it's still 0-0 between Tottenham and Arsenal on TalkSport, and we've got 5 to go before half-time. And what's Maurizio Pochettino, clad in all navy today, thinking as half-time approaches, Stuart?
Well, I don't think his side have played the ball well enough from the back to set things up. I don't think they've switched it quickly enough to Rosie, who's got an acre of space here. And when Rose has got the ball, they've not got a body or two out near him to support him, to give him a little bump pass off. And they've not been clinical, Spurs, albeit there's not been a great deal in the game, really. But they've not played particularly well. I don't think either team have been that clinical with their passing.
Given away in midfield by Wanyama. Typical derby, fiercely fought, but not much quality. It has lacked a little bit of quality at times, the game. Yeah,
and both teams have disappointed me a little bit with their defending. Neither team looked particularly tight defensively. And it's adding to a good game, really.
I'm surprised you're disappointed by Arsenal's bad defending. They've been doing it for quite a while now.
Listen, they're keeping a clean sheet in a moment.
So far, still a long way to go. And Unai Emery will know that. And they've got Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who they left on the bench, who's such a potent goal scorer, the top goal scorer in the Premier League this season, and the man who's got 6 and 7 against Spurs to bring off the bench if they want to. Here's Son, though, onto Kane, inside the area. Didn't have the pace to get away from Koscielny. Still has it with his back to goal. Guendouzi away. Picked up by Vertonghen. 5 yards back from the edge of the area. It's into Sanchez, and then on to Alderweireld, who sends a long raking pass out to Trippier. First time onto Eriksen. Lovely ball into the centre of the 6-yard box. Kane can't get there. Sokratis can. And Arsenal mop up what was a good chance for Tottenham Hotspur. Lovely ball in by Eriksen.
Brilliant set-up play on that occasion by Tottenham. Great ball in, and probably for the second time in this game, Sokratis has delivered the best piece of defending.
Mkhitaryan out to Iwobi, into the box, left-footed shot, which is saved by Hugo Lloris. He fingers it away towards the near side, and it's picked up by Danny Rose. But that was another opportunity on the counter-attack, and it was a really good save from Hugo Lloris. It was an effort and a half from Alex Iwobi.
Yeah, I think Iwobi has got the beating of Trippier today, or Alderweireld, whoever he's playing up against, you know, and the goalkeeper read it well. I don't think he put enough curl on it, but the keeper read it well, and credit to him.
Hit it right-footed, just inside the area, arcing towards the goalkeeper, which I think helped Lloris, but he still had to react very quickly because it was going at some pace. Arsenal failed to win 6 of their last 7 Premier League away games, but they are winning here. And they don't very often away at Tottenham Hotspur. Here's Mkhitaryan after Rose has given the ball away. Infield to Aaron Ramsey. Back to Sokratis Papastadopoulos. 3 minutes before the break. TalkSport. And Arsenal leading by that Aaron Ramsey goal, scored after 16 minutes. A breakaway in which he danced around Hugo Lloris and still finished with poise.
We all as though we got a typical game in March where both teams are struggling for that real bit of zip in their play, if you like, I think. But Arsenal will be the happier of the two if they can go in at half-time 1-up.
When you say that, are you suggesting that maybe the season is starting to just take its toll physically?
I think it will with every playing in England, you know. So, well, intense is the word, but probably the best word for the Premier League and
some of these
Champions
teams have had
League.
breaks, haven't they? Because they're not in the FA Cup, or they've been eliminated from the FA Cup in both circumstances.
Yeah, whilst I can accept that, you're still in March, you've still been, you know, it's little things like that we've just seen. Vertonghen, ball rolls under his feet. It's little errors of judgment.
And if your squad isn't that big and the Tottenham squad isn't that big, then maybe it will affect you a little bit more.
Well, what you've got to hope is, you know, if maybe 1 or 2 of your players lose a bit of form, but Tottenham look as though, you know, I'm not seeing exciting things from any of the front three from Tottenham, really. You know, they've been okay, but not electric, if you like.
It's a big game for them. Son sends it round the corner to edge of the area, back to Kane. Kane turns, flicks it into the box, and here's Eriksen against the goalkeeper, saved brilliantly by Bernd Leno, comes back out to Sissoko, and it's a one-handed save by Leno again to prevent Tottenham from getting an equaliser. It's a sensational double save from Bernd Leno in the Arsenal goal.
Well, that was sensational set-up play from Tottenham. Great ball in, awful defending once again. Eriksson running off the back. I think it was Socrates. Should have done better. Goalie, fantastic first save. Sensational second save, by the way.
Here's the corner, deep towards the centre of the penalty area. Alderweireld is up there. They're crowding Leno 8 now. He gets a big punch on the ball, and it comes out to the edge of the 18-yard box, and a flag is up for an infringement, I think probably on the goalkeeper anyway, and it's cleared away.
Well, that secondary save by Leno was wonderful. I've got to say, he had two bodies in front of him that were clouding his eye line, and still he managed to get a strong left hand to it.
Well, Kane's delivery into the box took a little deflection, but that allowed just a moment in time for Eriksson to bring it down and shoot, and he shot straight at Leno, who sent it out. It was point blank range. It was a good save. Came back out to Sissoko, who really should have scored his first goal since October 2017, but Leno was there to the rescue once again. A minute before the break, and it's still 1-0 to Arsenal. Frustration for Spurs.
Yeah, it is. It's been such an open game. As I say, Lloris earlier saving from Iwobi, Leno a wonderful double save, and once again both defences look as though they can't contain the opposition's forwards.
1-0 to the away team. 1 minute of added time at the end of the first 45 here at Wembley. Here comes Rose down the left, sends a cross into the box. Heung-min Son just can't reach it. Beautiful run, delightful delivery. Goes through the penalty area, and Tottenham are coming back again. They've had 75% possession in the last 5 minutes. Here's Eriksson shooting towards goal, takes a deflection off Ramsey, almost came through to Sissoko, and then it was cleared up towards the halfway line. Back to Alderweireld. A couple of skips over halfway. He looks up, sends a cross into the area, looking for Kane, headed away by Socrates Papastadopoulos. Son's got it, edge of the box. There was space for Trippier. He went for goal instead. Well over the top, and probably a shade wide as well from Heung-min Son, who can't add to his 16 goals of the campaign, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 1. Talk Sport live at the big game this Saturday. It is the North London derby, and well, jackets are off now, especially if your name's Maurizio Pochettino, who has seen enough. He has gone down the tunnel already, well before the half-time whistle is eventually blown by Anthony Taylor. He is not enjoying turning 47, defeated at Burnley, impotent and beaten at the Bridge, and now he's 45 minutes away from his first ever home Premier League defeat to Arsenal since arriving in North London. Aaron Ramsey's goal separates the two teams at half-time. It is Tottenham 0, Arsenal 1.
Well, I'm still trying to work out how Spurs didn't score there, and I'm still trying to work out whether Ramsey really shouted, "This is my pitch," after scoring the only goal of the first half. He's got some front, hasn't he? His Wembley winners for Arsenal in the FA Cups really mean a lot to him, even though he's on his way at the end of the season. Great first half, second half to come live on TalkSport, of course. At 3 o'clock, live exclusive national radio commentary of Man United against Southampton. I'm based at Bournemouth against Manchester City. I'll bring you half-times and full-times. We'll find out if City go back top of the Premier League table here today. Only defeat will stop them. Just after 5, it's the full-time phone-in with Laura Woods on TalkSport 2 later. The 5th and final one-day international with England 2-1 up in the series in the West Indies. It's live and exclusive commentary of that only on TalkSport 2. And TalkSport's cricket coverage won a prestigious Sports Journalist Award this week. Everyone involved thoroughly deserved it as well. In League One, there's an early kick-off, a 12:30 kick-off, and it is goalless at the moment. It is Southend 0, Barnsley 0. Jacob Brown, the young Barnsley striker, sent off in that first half, and Barnsley's long unbeaten League One run could be under threat at Roots Hall. Arsenal 1 up then at half-time live on TalkSport. Let's check on the odds with Betfair.
The Form Zone on TalkSport with Betfair, where gut instinct meets smarts. 18 plus. BeGambler.
Lacazette, I think, if they're going to make a change. He'll be delighted to go in 1-0 up, but they've got to defend slightly better, and I think Arsenal will need another goal to win this game.
Well, here is the change, and it is Matteo Guendouzi who comes off, and on comes Luca Torreira for the start of the second half, meaning that he continues his trend of appearing in all 29 games in the Premier League this season. Lucas Torreira. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 1. Second half about to get started, live and only on Talk Sport. And these two managers are good friends. They've got a healthy respect. Unai Emery told the board of Valencia that when he left in 2012 they should hire Maurizio Pochettino, but he did say that whatever the result is, he won't be speaking to him for 2 or 3 days, just to let whatever happens simmer down. Certainly won't want to gloat if they go away from Wembley with a victory, which seems likely at the moment. Ball is out of play on this near side, so that's the only change at half-time. So Tottenham in white shirts and navy shorts, shooting from left to right in the second half. Lloris, the goalkeeper, Sanchez, Alderweireld and Vertonghen, the back three. Trippier, Wanyama, Sissoko and Danny Rose in midfield, with Eriksen supporting Son and Kane in attack. The Arsenal lineup as they shoot from right to left in red shirts with white sleeves and white shorts. Leno, the goalkeeper, made a fantastic double save on the stroke of half-time. Mustafi, Sokratis Papastadopoulos, Koscielny and Monreal, Lucas Torreira and Granit Xhaka holding in midfield now, with Iwobi and Mkhitaryan either side of Ramsey. Lacazette is the lone striker, Aubameyang on the bench today. The ball on halfway, hooked forward by Tottenham, and there was a collision involving Lacazette on halfway, but the referee is not punishing anyone for it. It was Sissoko just leant into him, and Anthony Taylor saying, I don't have eyes in the back of my head, I didn't see it. No free kick given. Mkhitaryan running towards Monreal, who's going to take a throw halfway inside his own territory. Arsenal determined to keep the pace of the game slow at the start of the second half. Again, just wasting a few precious seconds. Iwobi in centre field tries to hook it into the air, headed on by Luca Torreira. Mkhitaryan can't get hold of it. Torreira ratting around midway inside his own half and sending it forward towards Aaron Ramsey, who seems to have been involved in an arm lock with Kieran Trippier. Free kick given in favour of the England right fullback, and he's not entirely happy, Aaron Ramsey, about that. And
rightly so, I think. I think the free kick should have gone his way. I really do. Trippier, as you say, arm locked him so he couldn't run away, and the ball had gone behind both players, so it certainly benefited the striker.
Unai Emery said in the build-up to this game, if he could manage to beat Tottenham, it would give him one of those rare, special moments that you get as a manager. Closing the gap to just a point on them in the race for the Champions League would certainly do that. At the moment, if it stays like this, 29 games played, 60 points for Tottenham, 59 for Arsenal. Manchester United with a game in hand, 55. Chelsea with 2 games in hand, 53. And Chelsea play tomorrow. Manchester United live on Talk Sport a little bit later on here. Stick around, 3 o'clock. We've got full commentary of their game with Southampton. Here's Alderweireld clipping the ball forward for Tottenham. Chested down though by Mkhitaryan. The Armenian swivels and sends it back towards the right side of the Arsenal defence. Mustafi into Xhaka. Big thumbs up from Xhaka for that little body swerve from Mustafi. It comes to Iwobi, who sends it on down the left. Monreal gives chase. He gets to the edge of the area, cuts back inside Trippier, pulls it back to Ramsey. Ramsey now trying to get away from Sissoko, who's tracking him, hunting him and winning the race and taking the ball off him, much to Unai Emery's insistence that it was a foul. Eriksen clipping it forward, looking for Son, who was in an offside position. Kane ran in behind, but they didn't find him, and Arsenal bring it clear up to halfway. Still 1-0 to the visitors.
Yeah, you can see that Trippier's lost a little bit of confidence with his defensive work, you know. On that occasion it was Monreal and Iwobi that danced past him.
Kane works it out to Danny Rose, into Harry Kane again, looking to turn here. Lovely little drag over the top of the ball and played a beautiful ball out to Trippier. Needed to be first time, and his cross in the end was poor. Kieran Trippier. He's thrashed that far too quickly, far too high through the 18-yard box. He's nowhere near anyone in a white shirt.
No, as I say, there's one or two Spurs players, and Trippier probably comes top of the pile, that have just lost a little bit of confidence in what they're trying to achieve. Great set-up play by Harry Kane, whipped the ball out wide, good centre-forward play, and when it come out to Trippier, it's in an absolute perfect position to either cut one back to Eriksen or just fade it across the face of the goal, and he got it horribly wrong.
Well, I think I mentioned to you prior to the game, or just as we started the commentary here, that Kieran Trippier amongst the supporters has been one of those figures who's been getting a little bit of negative attention. They certainly made their feelings felt, the Tottenham fans, when that ball went into the area, or into the air, from Kieran Trippier, who has the ball on the right side now for Tottenham, who trail by a goal to nil. 5 minutes second half. You're listening to Talk Sport. Ball switched out towards the far side by Eriksen towards Danny Rhodes. Again, it's not great, the delivery. And it goes straight through to Bernd Leno.
It's been scrappy, isn't it, from Spurs this half? You know, they've had good opportunity to set stuff up. Trippier got it wrong then, and Eriksen's got a diagonal pass, straightforward for him, a player of his ability, and got that wrong.
They don't usually lose at home to Arsenal, not anymore anyway. They've lost only one of their last 10 Premier League home games with the Gunners. So if they were to get a victory here, Arsenal, it would be a very rare one. But they've got to come from behind, Tottenham Hotspur. And they have had a couple of shots on target in the game, which is an upgrade on the midweek performance. But they were both saved by Bernd Leno. Here's the free kick for Arsenal on the halfway line, which is sent towards the edge of the Tottenham box, away by Harry Kane, and out towards the far side. Here is Luca Torreira, half-time substitute. 6 minutes gone, second half. Xhaka just left of the centre circle, clips it over the top, looking for the run of Aaron Ramsey, headed away by Davinson Sanchez. Trippier with a ball which goes back across the face of his own goal. Wrestling for it was Lacazette. Wanyama's lost it to Iwobi, but it's picked up by Sissoko after a bump off of Kieran Trippier, and then Sissoko plays it against the arm of Monreal. It goes out for a throw-in. And the throw-in is in the direction of Tottenham Hotspur, even though Unai Emery again is protesting to John Moss, the referee. There's another conversation between Pochettino and Emery, and I think Poch just said to Emery, maybe you should just calm down a little bit, because he has been incredibly animated throughout the entirety of the 52 minutes that we've seen here in the North London derby so far on this gloriously sunny day in North London. North-West London, really. All out of play on the far side. Eriksen again can't control it. Tottenham give the ball back to Arsenal, and Mkhitaryan finds Mustafi, a low ball into Ramsey, back to goal, back onto Mkhitaryan, who runs diagonally towards the edge of the Tottenham box, into Lacazette, gets it onto his left foot, takes it wide of Alderweireld, but there's Trippier to help out, comes back into centre field. Now Lacazette has got it again, back to the wide left, and Iwobi into the box. Tottenham having to defend here. Monreal through the area, Lacazette's missed another golden chance. Well, it came at him quickly, and maybe through a crowd of players. He stabbed at the ball on the edge of the 6-yard box as Monreal delivered a pinpoint ball to his feet. He should have had 2 goals in the game already. That's another big miss.
Yeah, he certainly should. Good set-up, play out wide for Arsenal. He pulled it back 7 yards out, level with the near post, opened his body out, and just got too much on it, really, and opened the goal up and skewed it wide. But both teams are... Well, both teams can create. The defending ain't great here today, but both teams are just not fully at it. I think if they were, there's 3 or 4 goals for each team.
That was a golden chance. Another one for Lacazette. He might rue that. Here's Eriksen down the left side, getting in beyond Socrates. Goes down, half-hearted appeals from the Tottenham fans for a penalty they're never going to get. It's cleared by Arsenal. Mkhitaryan has it right side. Then Sissoko bundles in. There's a challenge by Granit Xhaka that the referee didn't quite like. Free kick given to Spurs, left of the centre circle. There has been a goal in League One over on Talk Sport 2. Southend 0, Barnsley 1. And remember, Barnsley down to 10 men in that game. That game currently over on Talk Sport 2. The goal coming just moments ago. And if you want it, you can listen to it via our Talk Sport app, which has access to both stations. 9 minutes gone, second half. A Tottenham free kick just left of centre, and Sissoko hobbling again as he was on Wednesday night. Being helped back to his feet.
I think if this pattern of play continues for Tottenham, they're going to have to freshen it from the bench, and I'm sure Maurizio is talking with his assistant now.
Here's the ball into the box, comes back to Alderweireld, who smashes it on the volley as it drops on the edge of the 6-yard box and hits the side netting. Well, he's got to hit the target, surely. It's a tight angle, but it's not that tight. And as the free kick came in, Alderweireld found himself free at the back post, and he really should have tested the keeper.
High line from Arsenal, once again from a free kick. They didn't win the first one. They didn't stay with... Well, they did win the first one, but all they done was manage to flick it on. And then from that, they didn't stay with runners. And it's a gilt-edged opportunity from 6 yards out on the diagonal. And he missed the goal by probably 4 yards.
Here is the change, and Lacazette is being withdrawn 10 minutes into the second half. Well, when you miss 2 golden chances like that, you can't really have too many complaints with your top scorer sitting on the bench and waiting to come on. And he is not going to have to wait much longer, because he is now being ushered to the touchline, and he's going to replace Alexander Lacazette for the final 35 minutes of this North London derby. We're not surprised, are we?
No, I almost feel as though, certainly with his team selection in the week and now, that this substitution was probably almost preordained, if you like, you know, and he had it in his mind that, look, I'm going to do this, I'm going to freshen it up.
He did manage an assist for the goal that Arsenal scored for Aaron Ramsey, but he's missed 2 gilt-edged opportunities, and if he's in your fantasy team, you'll be as frustrated as some of the Arsenal fans.
Is he in your fantasy team?
I am speaking from experience.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The fantasy boys in my group will be absolutely delighted that he's sitting down now. Monreal on the Arsenal left, tossing the ball down the touchline, looking for Iwobi. And it's chested on by Sissoko, who won the second ball and now tries to get Tottenham on the foot after they turn the ball over. Wanyama, little mistake, and then a rather uncomfortable attempt at a twizzle before the ball runs loose, and it's picked up by Arsenal. Moved towards the edge of the 18-yard box by Mkhitaryan. Wide on the left is Iwobi. Tottenham have got men back inside the area, which means it's a little bit more difficult for Arsenal to pick a way through. Here's Xhaka swirling it right towards Mustafi. Mustafi cuts infield, a little nudge down the touchline towards the edge of the area, and Luca Torreira. But Arsenal just seem to be a little bit quicker and sharper, and as Kane goes down on halfway, under pressure from Socrates Papastadopoulos, Kane is being told to get to his feet. Well, I think the referee eventually has given a foul and a yellow card over on the far side, but even so, I do believe that Arsenal just a little bit sharper than Tottenham here.
Yeah, they are, and more of that is probably down to Arsenal will concede chances.